Howdy. I'm David from Patriot, Cowboy. It's I'm honored to be with you all here today to do a demo on ranch roping. And I'm using the word ranch roping because it's very distinctly different from rodeo stuff, right? A little earlier we had a conversation about Harlem Globetrotters. I'm sure a lot of the older folks know about Harlem Globetrotters. And this is just my opinion. The best way I could equate rodeo stuff, team roping that falls under the rodeo category, is like the Harlem Globetrotters for basketball, right? Ranch roping or ranch cowboy is one who actually works on a ranch, right? And the ranch could have many heads of cattle, 50, 100, 200. So a lot of times, you don't want to chase them down. Like I was telling the kids earlier, the young men and women earlier, that right now in Texas is like a drought, right? So if you're doing like the rodeo stuff and you're chasing them down, high-speed chase, that's one thing. But on the ranch, you own 200, 300 head of cattle, you're not trying to chase them down in the hot sun, right? So you want to handle them as efficiently as possible. All right, so my wife is going to call out the shots that I'm going to execute, God willing, in this demo. And they're level 1, 2, and 3 shots, right, depending on the degree of complexity. So I believe the first one, right, is a team, really a calf roping shot. And most people know cowboys, cowgirls to swing loops overhead, right? So something like this, right, Don? That's what we're familiar with, right? Yeah, thanks to Hollywood. Okay. Well, in a ranch, most of the time you throw a loop, it's going to be on the side. It's going to be over your back like this, right? To really get that rope up high. Most of those shots are going to be in that format. All right, so the first shot we have is, you're familiar with calf roping. The cowboy or cowgirl approach the steer from the right side, bring the loop around, it's a head catch, right? Then the men will jump off the horse and flip the calf over and tie him up. Anybody familiar with that? Okay. All right, so that type of shot, right, is, in my opinion, a very simple shot. And by the way, cowboys miss all the time. Unless you watch Yellowstone where they edit everything out, you miss all the time. But we have a saying, if you miss, let's get out the way, cowboy. Let's cowboy up, cowgirl up, get out the way, let somebody else come and do the work, and then get yourself together and come back again, right? But we do miss. So once we get to some of the more technical shots, I reserve the right to miss and to redo. All right, so this team roping shot, which a lot of people might be familiar with, is an overhead swing, right? And if you notice, my loop figure 8 on the side of the flank of that steer, this way you don't catch the whole body. All right? That's a head shot. Most of the times, right, when I talk to people, they tend to think that we only go after the head. Right? Well, if you're dealing with some very aggressive steers, you go after the head, and your horse is also aggressive, and if you're aggressive, then you might have a problem. You might choke the steer down to death because he's so aggressive. Most of the times, you want to go actually after the legs. The best way to subdue a steer, right, is to go after the legs. So this is a heel shot. All right, this is a team roping heel shot. What I just did there was to put a trap. So if I have a steer that's stationary, maybe grazing, the time they get touched, they move forward. If this steer was in motion, running, right, we will execute that shot when the leg is up. By the time the leg comes down, this is the bottom strand here. It will step over that strand, and you got the legs. That's a leg catch, heel catch. All right, that's as basic as it gets. All right, so now, you know, the reality of the ranch situation is the reality of the ranch situation. Cows are herd animals. All right, so you're not going to see one steer You have 5, 10 cowboys in a ranch, right? Don has a ranch, Don's ranch, right? He has 1 cow. That's not realistic, right? So you'll see a situation like steers all bunched up like this, right? And they're like, if I'm a steer and Don is a steer, Don is doing me like this. No, Dave, he's on that side, you go here. And he pushes me here, and I'm outside and keep going like that, right? You do all that is to take cover. To take cover, security with the herd. Now, we have a little situation.
Hello. Hi.
Now,
You can come back.
if I was to catch this first steer here, I got a problem because I have the back of this steer to deal with. Anybody sees that problem? Anybody see that problem down? I have the back of this steer, steer number 2, to deal with. Once you're dealing with ropes and you understand physics, and you understand centrifugal forces which govern these ropes. Anybody took science? The kids took science here? Yep. Anybody know the centrifugal force? This governs this rope. The flight path of this rope, the mechanics of this rope, the velocity of this rope, the geometry, the angles of this rope, right? Centrifugal forces at the underpinning, right? So the mere fact, you see that second stair, this one right here, is a problem. Right, normally a real steer will be a little soft, right? But when you train for adversity, hardship. I have a hard surface. This rope, you just hit that and bounce back off. So I have to be very careful. Anybody thinks I could catch that? Anybody thinks I could catch it? Yeah. Yep. Why you say I could catch it? Oh, that's why they brought me here? Well, let's see, and I reserve the right to miss, right? So let's see, right? You have to take your time, geometry. Whoop, miss, okay. Geometry, pace of your, of course, comfort, right? The angle of your swing is important. So we're going to do a little class afterwards, right? And the framework for my classes are plan, do, check, act. That was a military man, you might appreciate that, right? If you engage anything of a degree of importance, you have to plan, right? So I didn't plan, right, because doing this for a very long time got a little bit cocky, right? I didn't plan for, I don't know, some type of adversity with that shot. So now I'm going to plan for that now, right? So I'm planning what type of shot I'm going to use, right? What's the angle of my swing? How fast I'm going to deliver, how fast I'm going to swing, okay? So let's do this now, and let's not overthink it. I'm going to use a karate chop right over the back. Good. All right, so the angle of that was very important, okay? All right, and if you notice, where I said the angle was important the first time, right? Plan, do, check, act. So when I checked what I did the first time, I realized that my loop was flat. This time, the angle was just right. The approach is still like this at an angle. That's important. Now, what about the third steer? If I'm in this position, anybody sees a problem with that? You want to come over? Look, come and see perspective, right? Come and see what I see. You all might see something over there. Like, what is he complaining about? Come and see what I see. That third stair, I'm in this position right here. It's blocked. It's blocked? What's blocking it? The horns, right? You think I can catch that? All right, so what I'm going to do, if you give me a little space, I appreciate, what's your name? I appreciate that. There are a couple ways I could catch that, right? So now I'm planning.
Hello, sir.
Right? I have to plan now
Sorry.
what type of loop I'm going to deliver, how I'm going to swing it, right? And how I have to plan my flight path of this rope. So I'm going to go with a sidearm swing, right? Sidearm swing, quarter. Quarter. All right? Sidearm swing, yeah.
So is it like bowling or basketball where the release, like the angle of your hand matters when you release the rope?
It's all in your wrist. It's all in your wrist. No, the other thing is, right? I'm getting a little bit of science here. So people tend to think, and I mean it's good for theatrics, good for the Hollywood cameras, right? That centrifugal forces again, right? People tend to think Cowboys like this, he's chasing down the stand, he's swinging the rope like this, right? That's what people like to see. The harder you swing this rope, according to the laws of centrifugal forces, it's going to close your loop. If I deliver swinging like this and I deliver it like that, I'm going to miss. So the whole idea is, if you notice, when I swung, I was swinging at a certain pace, and I delivered a little slower. Now you see what happened to that rope? That rope there, it opened. Right? So the key is, to your question, it's all in the wrist. But velocity and speed, flight path of the rope and the delivery is important. In other words, if I'm swinging at a certain pace like this, as I'm about to deliver, I have to slow it down a little bit. Right? When you swing, you get that build-up of force and energy. Each swing is like a propeller. Right? You're in the Army or Air Force? Or you're Marine. Right? So you have this power now, each swing, right? When you're rated, so now you have the build-up of power, especially for distance, reach your target, right? As you're about to deliver, you slow it down, that widens your loop, right? So in other words, you're widening the net, you're increasing the probability of catch. So you know, as men, sometimes you like this thing, brute force. Yeah, brute force, I'll tell you all something. Cowboys break horses, cowboys break bulls. The rope breaks the cowboy. You cowboy, you think you're tough and you have all these big muscles and you let's swing this any way how you want. It ain't happening. So this is all about finesse and delivery. It's all in the wrist. So what we have next on the
Your level 2 is a head, heel, del viento flank.
okay, so now different situation, my friends. Remember we spoke about, I think it was earlier before I don't want to say older folks, the more seasoned folks came. Remember we spoke about you might have a steer who's like is a loner, right? He's a loner, she's a loner, and they're like, you know what? Forget you, Cowboy John. You're not gonna tell me what to do. I'm doing my own thing here, right? One boss on this ranch. So a lot of times you might end up with situations like this, where you might have a steer moving from left to right. Okay? According to rodeo, right? If you want to catch the head, you have to ride your horse over like this, right? Come to the right side, or come to the left side, and here, chase him down, right? Cowboys have no patience, no tolerance for that type of stuff. We are impatient men and women. So, you happen to be on horseback, right, Johnny? You see a steer coming like this, right? Okay? He's going like this from your left to right. You figure out what type of shot you're going to use. You plan your shot, right? What I'm going to do is have this rope go out in front, right? Out in front of the steer and come back. I'll show you what I mean. The name of this shot is called El Del Viento. Yes. Sidearm swing. Up and over. Corner. Right? Notice it went out in front of him a little bit. Remember we were saying timing is important if you have a moving steer. So I'm stationary. This is moving left to right. So if I try to throw a loop straight to the head, I have to time it so well. This shot that I just threw there gave me a little space for error, right? Because it went out this way and it came back. So I have a little, if I mistime it by a fraction of a second, right? It came back around the head. A lot of times, if you try to go direct to the head, if you're off by a fraction of a second, maybe you might hit the back, right? Miss. All right, that's Del Viento. What next we have in the memory? Anybody want to see that again? Any questions on that one?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Can you do it again?
So, once we get to level 3, we have a menu out here. Level 3 is a tricky, difficult one, right? All right, so Del Viento. All right, just a quick explanation of this. The name of the anybody speak Spanish here?
Sí, hablamos español mucho.
What's the meaning of Del Viento?
The wind.
Of the wind, right? So with this shot, it's a technical shot. It's like you throw it and you hold it down. Right? Of the wind, right? Okay, so a couple things with this. I'm swinging like this, right? And I'm going to flip, I have to flip the rope anti-clockwise to bring it back. Does that make sense, Don? I'm turning it this way. So the rope is going out that way. I have to turn the rope to come back this way. Anybody, you all take my class, you understand how to do this. Let's go again. All right, del viento. Up. And over. Hold it.
That broke my dog.
Sorry. What next we have on the menu, my dear?
Johnny Blocker.
Oh, Johnny. Oh, you know Johnny has his own shop now, right? You call this Johnny Blocker. It's a blocker. Well, I think Johnny Blocker was his name, but it's kind of funny. It's a blocking shop, right? And there are a couple ways to do it. And all these are this reserved right to do over, right? So same thing, right? I threw El Del Viento, right, Johnny? Because I was more in this position, right? Johnny Blocker, if you happen to find yourself in this situation, or you allow the steer to get to that point, right? You throw a Johnny Blocker, right? The Johnny Blocker looks like this, right? Like this. I'm trying to get the rope to stop in the air vertical. Then you this, okay? Move it over. So the whole idea with this shot, it goes out in front of the steer, right? And it rolls over. Another name for this shot is called a turnover shot. Now we're doing a recording today with no editing. That's good. I could hear my mentor right now. I can hear his voice. His voice in my head. Okay, Johnny Blocker. All right, that's your Johnny Blocker shot. Anybody have any questions on that? Right, so steer moving left to right. You throw a Johnny Blocker. What else do we have?
The next one is the backside Del Viento.
Oh, backside Del Viento. Okay, so now you approach the steer, right, from behind, and you're afraid that you have concerns that steer might bolt off of you. Right, this is going to go out in front of you, man. I'm going to hit you. Right? So sometimes these steers, some of them are very smart, right? Some of them you think they'll run off, but it just stays put. Right? So if you try to go directly to the, try to throw a shot out in front, like the Johnny Blocker, you might miss, you might fall to the floor, but that stays like that, got you. Right? So I'm going to throw El Del Viento, because I'm approaching the steer from behind, and I have a feeling that steer is going to, it could run off, or it could stay. It could stay put. You know, it varies with what it does. You may have steers who think like that. So the Del Viento, right? Same thing, it went out in front, right? If you stay put, my friend, if you stay put, you come back on him. If you move forward and speed up a little bit, it still came back and it went out. So I had that room for error. Okay. What next do you have in the menu?
Head Gavilan.
Huh?
Head Gavilan.
Oh, head. All right. So I have another situation here. All right. So sometimes this is the beauty of the ranch roping, right? You know, all types of situations could come up. You may have a situation where steers are being pushed this way, right, my friend? Maybe along a fence. Okay, and what you could do is just ride the opposite way. Does that make sense? Is this a level 3 shot?
No, this is the last one in level 2.
Okay, the level 2. Okay. So, right in the opposite direction, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to throw this rope in front of him and turn it over. Okay? So it's like this. Right? Alright, so you're vertical to that steer. You sort of face this way on your horse. Throw it up in front and turn it over. Now, a couple things, right? Remember I said sometimes you don't catch the legs. What I could do is, I could just pull this real quick and close it around the neck, or I could just leave it like that. See that? If I leave it like this, right, Johnny? If I just leave my rope like that, what will happen is, it will walk through. Remember, this gear is in motion, right? It will walk through, right? And as it's going, it's moving this way. It will pull the rope back like that, like that, like that. Then you pull it snap on the legs. Right? So now you converted a head shot into a heel shot. Right? It's very efficient. Now if you were some type of competition stuff, to do a head shot, you have to chase them down like this and do all of that stuff. Right? You just either wait for it, or just have a slight trot going the opposite direction and through it and forth away. Any questions on that one? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Now
you're getting into your level
we're
3
gonna make
shots.
we have 3 more shots.
No.
Level 3, we have a menu here now. We have, you all remember Del Viento, right? One in front like this, flip it over. We had the Johnny Blocker, or the last one that I did, right? Anybody wants to see me catch the legs using any one of those shots, and which shot? That's on the menu. Johnny Blocker, Del Viento, right? Or
The gathering.
the gathering, the last shot that I did. This is as difficult as it gets. Marisol, what you saying there? Oh, I'll have my friend call it out. What's the name?
Richard.
Richard. So this is our level 3. Now here's where you're really putting me on the fence now. Right? To use those shots to catch legs, it's a challenge. I'm going specifically for legs, not a conversion of a head to a leg, right? Which is a very efficient way to do it. I would think somewhat easier. Or remember the Del Viento shot? The one that turned out like this? The last one I did, or the Johnny Blocker? Which one you all likely to do? That's on the menu. Just call one.
To the Johnny Blocker.
So you want the Johnny Blocker?
Yeah, the Johnny Blocker.
Yeah, Johnny Blocker.
Johnny, I think that's a conspiracy, Johnny.
His birthday, we got a blocker. There you go.
I did. All right.
Johnny, be careful, they about to block you.
All right, so the Johnny Blocker, right? Stay moving from right to left in this case, right? I'm going after this. It's not a headshot. I want to drop this rope on his back. All right, they reserve the right for a do-over. All right, so Johnny Blocker. All right, so now, see what we have there, Johnny? Drop down his back. See here? That's the trip line. That's the trap. That's the trap. So as this steer is moving this way, they get tapped on the back if you're stationary. If they're moving, you time it properly. So what happened? Bam. Got it. Put that right leg. And I think that's what we have for today, folks. I hope you all enjoyed it. Much obliged, ladies. You will have to ladies. Men. John, thank you for your service. John, I didn't realize it was your birthday. Happy birthday, sir. He remembers me from Milford Soccer Club, coaching, one of the coaches. And anybody who has any questions, want to learn, you can make a little station here. We have some fun and just throw some ropes. Catch some
Come
steers.
on, somebody volunteer.
Johnny.
All right, so, okay, you're about to catch your first steer. So what I'm going to do is, right, with beginners, I don't think you should use this one. It's very frustrating. I'll give you a nylon. And sort of like, so that you all understand, right, just real quick, the anatomy of a rope. All right, so this is what we call the loop, right? The loop, this is the loop. All right. This part of the rope here right? Right here with the nut is called a Honda, like the car. Right? The body of rope from where I'm holding this rope to the Honda is called a spoke. Right? So all the science, any engineering folks here? No engineering folks? I'm the only one? Okay. So anybody, we have bicycles here? Anybody has a bike?
Right behind you.
Bicycle?
There's a bike right
All right,
behind
so
you.
The reason why we call is a bike.
Behind you, yeah.
All right. So the reason why we call from here to get spoke
I know.
really is this is the true spoke. So you have a wheel when set in motion, you have a certain degree of momentum and movement, right? This is the true spoke. Spoke in the wheel. So some of those shots like Del Viento, I held on to this part of the rope. Right, that's how I'm doing it. I'm turning it this, so I can turn it that clockwise, anti-clockwise, depending on what you're trying to do, right? Not true. So then these circles here are the coils, right? This is a 60-foot poly ranch rope, as professional as it gets. This part of the rope, anybody can tell me what this part of the rope is called? Tail. Oh yeah, we have some, who said that? Oh yeah, you have some, she knows, Georgia or something like that? Oh, okay, Southern folk, yeah. She knows, she's like, okay. You're very good at tails. Oh, okay, there you go. So yeah, you have the loop, Honda, spoke, coils, and the tail. All right, so, and this is a poly rope, which is not for
Johnny said heavy up, he ain't got it all day.
for beginners, right?
I said
So what I'm
Johnny
gonna
said heavy
set
up, he
you
ain't got it
with,
all day.
Johnny, is a nylon, right? Set you up with a nylon. Sorry. Whoops, sorry about that. Whoops, sorry about that. All right, so nylon. This is also a professional rope. A couple folks won team roping series with this same rope. All right, but it's a nylon. If you notice, it likes to stay open. You see that? Whereas my polys tend to stay like this. Right, so for beginners who might be a little bit heavy on the hand swinging, this is a little more forgiving. So, Johnny, this is what I needed to do. So we start off. Right? We'll start off roping without the horns. They both have their degrees of complexity. Right? And all I want you to do is no swingers yet. Right? So you build your loop, you swing your loop, you deliver your loop. That makes sense? We're gonna begin. Anybody know Stephen Covey, that book? Who wrote that business book, Stephen Covey? Right, begin with the end in mind. We're starting with the end point, which is to deliver your loop. Right? If I start them off from the beginning, when they go into coiling and stuff like that, I'm like, forget it, man. I don't want to do this anymore. So this is what I need you to do. Stand over here. All I need you to do is, number one, welcome to the role, the realm of a cowboy, right? So our personality is no nonsense. You stare down your challenges, right? And if you fail, you don't melt. A lot of my shots that you all saw, until I was able to master them, that failure was all over them. And every time the rope fell on the floor, I looked stupid. I didn't consider myself what some people might consider looking stupid. I got up and I did it again. I did it again. You know, as you say, fall off your horse, get back on your feet. All right? So all I need you to do is, number one, keep your eye on that target. Right? The target is the head of this thing. You're not dealing with horns. Head of this thing. Right? And I want you to see my approach. I want to start off keeping this rope vertical like this for me. Right? And I want you to deliver this rope to this head. That's the entry point. Hold. Once you reach about here, you turn over your wrist. You follow through across your body. You understand that? Just like this. All in the wrist. What's your name again? Elias. All in the wrist. Right? Now, physics. Right? Process. Laws that govern this. If you turn over too soon, you're just going to float over. A lot of people do this. How did I miss that? But turn over too soon. In a rush. You know what I mean? I was your age once, right? As I said,
Long time ago.
this rope, ain't no rushing this rope. This rope is like, forget you, Johnny. You ain't rushing me. Alright? Here's your point. Staring this down is a new challenge somebody can learn, and I will do this. I'll catch this kid. I no nonsense look. Right? You remember me from coaching, right? No nonsense, right? The goalie, right? And rope this kid for me. Whoop.
John, you're lefty.
Oh, you a lefty.
Oh, I love it.
Really putting me on the ringer now.
Me too, Johnny.
Whoa! I love that, man. Okay. So now, you see, I was kind of funny. I was looking at left-hand ropes. I'm like, what's a left-hand rope? Left-hand twist. Yeah. Don, you probably remember this. In the military, the trained left-handers, it's like a whole, well, let's see. You know,
It's different.
whole base upside down, and this kind of thing. All right, so left hand, which I taught one. Root. Now it's like, all right, so now it's going to be coming from this way, from left to right. Okay? And your posture, sorry about that, is going to be trying to make this into a left hand situation. Rope is like left hand Cowboys. Who's that? Johnny? So then do it like this. Do the loop. Right, for the right handers, right? See how I build this? When I build this loop, this part of the rope belongs to the rope that collected this knot. In this case, join. Okay, and same concept, just from the left side. Just kind of hard for me to show you. I'm just trying to, you can figure now. Yes, temperature does, moisture, humidity does affect the ropes. So now I'm trying to condition this to a left-hand situation. And,
You gotta unroll the whole thing and roll it up on your left hand. I mean, roll it up on your right hand. Pepper, you want to teach a class?
We appreciate you.
Oh, they didn't share. That's a son. Well, my wife is folks from Tennessee, so I ain't messing with you southern folks, man. Maybe she's right. She is right.
No, you're rolling it up on your left hand. Roll it up on your right hand.
Roll up on my right hand. Oh. Okay, so now.
You confused him just now.
That's a skill I have to develop to do that. Everything is biased to right-handers. Unfortunately, they deal with that stuff all the time. Right? Yeah, I can't. My brain can't orient. Yeah, you wanna try to. Okay, see what we do. Let's improvise. Let's cowboy up. Improvise. Right? What we're gonna do? We're gonna work out chord. Right? Then we stay here till. That's how we just improvise and work around. We're not the type of people who, Do me a favor, Johnny. Bring me that red rope over there. This one is like toasters. Yeah. This is actually one of the best selling ropes in the world. Do this. I can throw the coils.
You know you almost hit Johnny, right?
I almost hit you, John.
I can't make no more kids.
Yes, no coils. Right? This side. Right. Now you gotta do this. length of the loop. It's like having let's pick like the central point. It's like almost spokes meet in the center, so the spokes should meet in the center point. So beyond 50% will relax. Alright, so I think this is good. Same thing. In this case, this is your approach, right? You hold, that's your entry point, and then you turn over across your body. Okay? Let's see. I forgot to do that. Maybe if you're one of my goalies, I might remember that. Or just, yeah, keep your eye on the target though. Keep your eye on that target.
Lock in.
Okay. Try again. Try
Let go
again.
of it.
Right? Try again.
Oh, I gotta let go?
No, yes. You know, hold on. You're gonna hold. Sorry. You're holding this part of it. Oh. Right?
Leg forward.
Show that loop. Show the loop. Don't worry if you hit me in the face. Right. Okay. Now, you see what just happened there? See what happened there? You see strongman Johnny, right? Now, if he was a bull, leave it right there. If he was a bull, and you see, look, Marisol, he's flexing for his mom, right? Look how strong I am. I just caught this here, right? Dad, you saw this? If he was a real bull, you know what happened? He'd be flying off the horse, right? You have to throw that. You have to, when you throw it,
Oh, I gotta let go.
when you throw it, you have to let go of everything. This part, you pull it through. That make sense? Yep. So that, remember to turn your wrist over. Okay, now what happened there? Now you plan to throw, right? Now you didn't remember in your plan the angle, right, of the delivery when to turn your wrist, right? So now plan to turn your wrist once you get around here, once you reach around turn your wrist. You turn your wrist a little bit too early. Right, okay, that's good. Right, you planned, you did it, it worked. All you have to do, the next action, plan, do, check, act, is to repeat that continuously. All right? So you were able to figure out on his first throw what was off, right? Was the angle at which he approached the head. He approached the head flat, so that's why it's sailed over. All right, so these life lessons in terms of problem solving, right? I hope I urge you all to employ it in your lives. Anybody else want to take a try? All right, so you right-hander?
Yep.
What's your name?
I'm David.
I was about to say, how you didn't know that was David?
Oh, wait a minute, that's David?
Yes, that's David. David is David, right?
Look a lot different. That's going on, huh? All right, so now you're on the right side. Right? I think you understand what's going on, right? Right? Listen that time. Now let me see your plan. Make your plan. No calls there. Okay. Make your plan. Try to get comfortable. Plan your posture. You have to plan that in your head. Plan, right? The engagement, the eyes on that steer. Plan your position. You think you're too close, or you can step in. Or you're too much behind. Right over here. That's good. Right now, what's the deal? When are you turning your wrist over? Right. Okay. Right. That's your plan, right? That's your plan. Now do it. Just do it. As Nike said, just do it. Okay. Now, that's okay. That's fine. Now, let's check what happened there. What happened is, did like this. Right? It's not just throw it out there, right? So it's how should I say it? Step over there, I'll show you. This is, right? Engage. Hold. Right? You're bringing the rope over this way. Right? It's not a. Well, that's from experience, right? Okay? So let's try that. After a while, you'll get that type of muscle memory. Do that. Eyes on it, vertical, right? The posture. Keep your eyes on it. Okay, now, couple things you're doing, right? You're throwing, let me see. Let's find the root of why that's happening, right? If I say something negative, it's just to help us diagnose. It's problem solving, right? Now what you're doing is you're throwing the loop and you're holding on to this and it's zipping down, getting small. Right? That's what I want you to do. What I want you to do is to throw both parts. Right? There are times when you do that, some shots. This you're throwing both parts. Both parts like this. Look. Then you throw it. Make sense? Alright, so that's the root of that. And we'll take the corrective action, plan it, do it, check to see what happened, now act. I always say, young folks, right? Act or be acted upon. If he doesn't take action to correct this, he'll be staying here till kingdom come and miss. Go ahead. Sort of work with that. Much better, much better. Let's try it again. Oh, he really wants us. Oh, that's it. All right. Let's try it one more time. One more time. All right, this is, now we're going to repeat our success, right? Figure out, think about what you did right. And repeat. Repeatability. Write down all good habits, training, repeat it. There you go. Repeatability. Okay? Cool. All right, good. Excellent. Excellent. Very, very, very well done. All right? That's it, man. Anybody else wants to try this? Ah! Then next up is to teach you all how to swing and deliver. Ah! Come on, sit right up, Elias. Come on. Right arm, Johnny. Swing. Right, swing. And deliver. Next on the menu. All right, brother. You all are brothers. No, I'll just call you brother, right? So you understand that? Right-handed, right? Step in a little bit. Plan your position. Plan your eye contact, right? And when are you turning your wrist over? When it's like right above, turn it over. Right? And do it. Just do it. It's okay. Now, what was wrong there? Right. And you took your eye off a little bit, I think. No, I'm asking you. I think you took your eye off a little bit, no? Okay, so now eye contact. What's your posture? Slight crouch like this here. The posture. Okay, bring it in. Okay, now let go. Remember, right? Okay, right. Okay, good, good. So now, what I want you to do is, once you get about here, you throw the loop. Throwing the loop, throwing your wrist loop. Does that make sense? So like if you just do like this and hold on to that, it will go flying. Right? Just look at the shoulder, broken back, lost fingers because of the rope. All right, then step in again. Step in. Okay. Now, what do you think went wrong there? Let go too early. That's fine.
Excuse me.
That's fine. My wife see me miss. She said, that sounds like you. All right, no. Think about it. Try it again. Step in a little bit. What's your posture? A little bit. That's good. Try it again. All right. So now, I think with this, I think what you did there was, let me show you. You did like this. You threw the loop and you held on to this part. Right? That could work with a lot of experience, but that's not what I want you to do. I want you to throw both parts. When you do that, it zips down. Right? And as it zips down, you're decreasing your probability of catch. This is all scientific. This is all science and process. Right? It's all variables, right? So if you change anything, you're going to get a different outcome. So the outcome that we want is a good catch. And all we're going to do is play around with the variables. Right? Bring it on. Perfect. Oh my God. You did everything there perfect. Right? You did everything there perfect. How do you feel about that? Yeah? That was like smooth. You were like, had you doing this for a while. Now, repeatability. Let's work on that one. Repeatability. That's a problem to repeat something, right? Now, think about it in the head and plan yourself without my coaching. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect, brother. I really appreciate that. I think for all the gentlemen who stepped up so far, very, 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 very well done. I ain't seen girls up there. Oh, is it boy stuff? The girls one? Huh? Some of the best, some of the best capitalizers are women. Thank you, brother. Very, very well done. You're welcome. Any no girls want to step up? You don't have to. If you want to. But Marisol, you want to give it a try? You are one of those in the class.
Man, so you failed the class just now.
Anyone of the females want to take a try with this? Any of the more experienced folks?
Comes Cleveland.
Because this, you don't need a lot of. This is not a brute force thing, right? You say, well, I'm not in shape. It's not a brute force thing. It's ability. It's a process thing, right? It's all this is process. My mentor is like about, what old do you think he's about 80 years old? See him swing this rope.
I got a question for you. When you train on horseback,
Yeah.
you do the big overhand loop.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful not to hit your own horse with the back loop, right?
Well, your horse has to be comfortable with. Sometimes you might capture. The horse has to be comfortable.
So they get trained.
Right. Yeah. The horse has to be actually trained. Like right now in my program, I have a new horse I'm adding to my program. Her name is Penny. One of the things that I did with Penny was I took this steer, I actually put it in my paddock, right? And then she's like, then you know you have to work with that. She came across, right, sniffed it, sort of sniffed the wood, sniffed the head, she was fine with it. Then, I did some swings on top of her, rope touching her, different types of ropes touching her, she was fine. Then, not on horseback, I did some catches, just to hear that clunk, 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 right? You watch the ears, right? If you see them like panicking like this, if you try to rope on that horse is not ready for that. She was comfortable with all of that stuff. So, your horse has to be trained, especially like, and I think you were probably looking and referring to the sidearm swing, del viento, right? You figure you want to throw a del viento from behind this, it's really operating on your flank, right? So you mightn't really like hit the steer or the horse like that, right? But the Johnny Blocker now, that comes along the backside of the horse, right? So that's something that you want to try Johnny Blocker with a small loop, light swing, and then expand the loop over time to see if they're comfortable with that one. But what could happen is that they're comfortable with some shots, but not others. But the Johnny Blocker is more like this, right, on your backside. So just swing around the back of your horse like that, right? Swing it to the back of your horse, and you're delivering like that, right? So that can end up tapping them in. It's just,
So how much rope, if you were going to do this like out on a regular ranch,
yeah,
you'd have much, much longer rope, would you, or no?
right. This is a 30-foot rope. This is a 30-foot team roping rope, right? For heading, right? This is a professional rope, by the way. But I train people with this, right? Now, if you give one of the beginners one of these, right? It's a 60-foot. That one day is a 50-foot rope.
So is that what you would use out on a regular ranch?
Yeah, a
Longer
50,
rope,
a
right?
50 or 60-foot
Yeah,
rope.
that's
Now, a couple things, right? See the 30-foot rope? Right? You have some 35-footers, right? That using around. That's like the minimum. Some cowboys are like, oh, forget it, man. I catch that head, 35 feet, that's it. But you figure, right? The 35-foot rope, this is a 60-foot rope. Some of that footage is going to get consumed in the loop, correct? Especially using big loops. And the reason why I use big loops, remember that Johnny Blocker? I needed enough material to wrap around like this. You can't use a small loop. Has to wrap around, has to come under here. It's a big loop shot. Then you lose some of it in the throw. Right? So, trying to get back my train of thought. So with the longer ropes, let's say you catch this here, Don. Right? You catch. Boom. Using a 35-foot rope, you close this down. Right? And that stays in motion, and you're in motion. That's very little slack. You can choke that thing, right? And sometimes some well, I don't want to get into the politics, but on a ranch, you use a longer rope, right? So this way, anybody ever seen a Western saddle? Where's the Florida lady there? Oh, she running? She running?
Yeah,
All
sure
right.
inside.
So the Western saddle, on this part of the saddle has a horn, right? And that's where you wrap.
Right.
Okay? So what you could do, you catch, let's say you catch the head and you're walking by yourself, right? So you do a light wrap and you give him a little more rope, right? So you kind of slow him down, you're not choking him, you're sort of like playing with
Like
him.
putting drag on a fisherman.
Right, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Then after a while they get tired, they slow down, they're like, forget the chase, right? Now you do your hard stuff, right? You can only do that with a 35-foot rope, you're done. With a 50 or 60-foot rope, you're good. Once they stop, right, and you're dealing with like a big steer, what you do is like, just ride around him like this. Especially if he's aggressive. If he's aggressive, maybe he charges you, right? You make a trip line like this. Boom. Right? Do like this. You already like, going out of wind. You understand what I'm saying? Might struggle a little bit. Then, you're like, okay, the big bad bull, let me show you something, right? Then they bring your horse like this, right? About turn, right? You know about turn. Then you move up a little bit, right? That's the big bad bull.
Then you use the weight of the horse to pull him over.
Leave him right there, locked up. Reason why we need to do this, maybe this animal needs doctoring, maybe they have worms or some type of maybe branding. You doctor them, get them well, okay? And then it's a neck thing. If you're able to just release that loop, and they just throw the whole rope, they'll go about their business. Right? So yes, long ropes. That's the ranch stuff. Long ropes. Now if you're doing calf roping, talk about calf roping, right down, here's your calf rope. That's it.
That's it, really.
Boom, high speed chase. Around the neck, high speed chase. Sometimes that animal goes flying up in the air like this. Then now you dismount, flip him over, right? Tie him up.
Right.
So time.
Right. I've seen that on TV. Yeah.
Right, so now this is ranch. I'm not getting into the politics of that. Right? This is the ranch applications. I just use this because it's nice to train with. I can just switch over and over, don't have to recoil. I can just switch over for my practice, it's very convenient. Now, I have one last thing on the menu, which is special. You all ready for the dessert now? Now the dessert is like this, looks like a spoon. Alright? So, sometimes in a situation where if you like this and your horse minding the business, looking at something over there, you're scared in motion like this, or it just pulls up behind you and grazing, you figure if you turn around, you will scare him off. Right? Or if you turn him around and he's moving, then you get into maybe a collision, messy type of situation. What do you do, Don? This way. Right? Sometimes the front of your horse intimidates them. Right? So sometimes if you want to rope a steer like this. What do you do, Don?
Throw it over here.
Any? What do I do?
The dog just ran after another dog.
Oh, sorry.
Right after the rope.
So you're saying that the steer comes behind you, right? And you don't want to like turn around and chase them off. You can see him coming, right? But you want to throw a shot.
I should be back in the next 10-15 minutes.
You don't want to turn around and you scare them off. Because some of them, the face of the horse scares them.
What happened?
Right? So you don't want to intimidate them. So what do? I'm facing this way.
In Nagatalk, where he always go to practice.
Right? Huh?
Throw it over your shoulder.
Right, over the shoulder. Alright, so here's where
I should
I
be
request a do-over if I need to. I need to. Throwing a backhand shot. And of course, where's the lion? Throwing the ball behind you, right? Not the easiest thing. And it's hard enough to throw it in front of you. And there are a couple ways to do this. I'm going to choose the simplest way for now. Right? It's it's a backhand swing. Well, okay, now improvise, right? See what just happened there? I'll just leave that. You know what happened?
Step in it.
Step right into it. Caught the back leg. It doesn't have to be pretty. Right? But I was really going after the head. Right? And I consider that a lower percentage shot because of the dynamics of throwing something behind you. Now I'm going to show you all the harder way. You can't even do the easier way, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to show you the harder way of
I'm leaving.
Huh?
I'm leaving. I gotta go take
Okay.
surveillance for soccer.
I'm going to show you the harder way and then we're done. The harder way of doing that thing. Right? It just looks fancy. Right? It just looks fancy. Right? And who is that? Elias. I'm going to hold it. You seem to be more engineering inclined. I'm going to hold, right? I'm throwing that out. I'm going to hold this and I'm going to turn this. Right? It just accelerates the spin of the rope. It looks nice. But believe me, the other way is the better way to catch. It's like this. What's called to catch that look nice, right? So the whole idea is physics. By turning it this way, if I had a longer rope, it will spin all the way around. So with that shot, the length of your rope is key, right? Obviously, I was just a little bit off. So the length of your rope is key, or your position. With a shorter rope, the position is key. That's how a lot of people will just turn around and come this way, and it just stays in motion, going left to right, right? You could throw a shot like this down, right? You might just spin around in time, karate chop, like that. Catch it. Then you could just leave that there if you want. That looks like a nice situation where you're gonna, right? Step over. Now you have a, all right, remove this, leave your rope, right? That was really a two-leg thing. Then you have to, I don't know, legs or head. And that's it, right? Much obliged, thank you all.